everyone. Welcome. This is the Oracle Autonomous Database Learning Lounge. I am Marcos Anasibia, part of the product management team for Autonomous Database. And today you're going to join a very, very special session. We're going to be talking how to unlock modern analytics and AI with the Oracle's converged platform. So George Lumpkin is going to be joining us and talking about first how Oracle Autonomous Database unlocks the value of your data and spurs innovation. Then he's going to show us the converged data platform, right, that enables all these user community to use this persona-specific tools, right? And then all of these is underpinned by the unified data and metadata. And also, he's going to talk about how to work with this new analytics platform that you can build either on current cloud data warehouses that you might have, or even on-premises data warehouses, right, that you can actually innovate with these cloud platform. On top of that, while maintaining complete compatibility, right, with your current applications. So we're going to end up with the session with all the new AI features as well. He's going to be talking about the new AI capability. So at all times, we have product managers available to answer your questions. If you do have questions, please make sure to type them in the Q&A section of Zoom, all right? And then we're going to distribute to you guys some links in chat. So you're going to be able to see those there. For all of the recordings, this session and the previous sessions, they're always going to be available at that link that you see there. And speaking of links, I'm sharing with you guys some links right now. So the links you have there are for our Get Started page, for how to join us as well, in LinkedIn or X. And if you have questions, how to ask your questions to us. So, outside these sessions, you can ask your questions through Stack Overflow, or you can join us on the Oracle Developers Slack workspace. So there's a workspace there that you can join with that link, and then you can search for the channel called Oracle Autonomous Database. So in that channel, we're announcing sessions and we're answering questions as well. All right. With that, I would like to thank you, George, for joining us today and doing the session for us. I hope that that quick call gave you some ideas, basically that people use a little bit of everything, right, in separate places. So you can start sharing your screen and take it away. And thank you again.
Okay, thank you, Marcos. Hey, so what I wanted to talk about today was really talk about modern data analytics and AI. I'm going to be covering a wide breadth of features, and almost everything I'm talking about today is currently available. The features I'm going to be talking about are in Autonomous Database. There are a couple of features that are still limited availability, and maybe a couple of features that are still on the roadmap, and I'm going to indicate those. So this is the usual legal disclaimers. Not everything in the slides is exactly in the product today, but I'm going to be very conscientious to point that out. At a high level, what's the goal for a modern data analytics platform? Right. What we want is to have a single platform that can really work with and analyze all of your data. Your data, regardless of where it is, regardless of what cloud or whether it's on-premise, regardless of what format it's in, whether it's inside a database or outside a database, and bring all that data together so that you can run your analytic workloads and build your business solutions. So that you can run your query workloads, as we just saw from the survey. The majority of you are really focused on doing analytics from a data warehouse. But there's a wide breadth of analytics that can be done, not simply SQL, but much more sophisticated things like graph analytics. With Oracle 23 AI, we did vector analytics, and then also AI. And within Oracle and with Autonomous Database, we've really delivered a complete platform for addressing all those requirements. And I wanted to sort of step through, all of the breadth of what we have in our platform. First of all, we can manage any type of data. You can have relational data that's stored directly in a database. You could be handling sort of semi-structured data, JSON data placed in database. You can access object storage and open table formats like Iceberg. You can ingest IoT and streaming data. And then on top of all that data, we're supporting all of the different types of data processing that you might need in a modern data analytics platform. We support graph, as I just mentioned. We have machine learning. We'd add extensions, so we support vector and sort of vector search. We have spatial analysis. All of this is built in, of course, within the Oracle database and within Autonomous database. But also specifically within Autonomous database, we've taken all of these sort of converged type of workloads that we run, and we've also added specific UIs and experiences for different personas, for data scientists, for data engineers, for data analytics, for application developers. We provide tools for each of those personas. And then we add data governance capabilities. I'm going to show several demos today. And one of my first demos is going to be around a data catalog. So we have all these data sources that are available. We have all the different ways we can analyze that data, but we need to be able to understand what data is available both inside our database and anywhere in our enterprise. So the data catalog does that. And then finally, we want to be able to exchange and share data. And we provide data sharing and data marketplace capabilities as well. All of these components, you look at this chart and you say, well, gee, this is a lot of complexity. There's a lot of moving parts. There's a lot of these components. But what we've done with Autonomous database is we've really built a converged platform where all of these components are integrated into a single cloud service. And this is a pretty important concept, right? This isn't an idea that we're going to have a la carte, that we're going to pick an ETL tool, and then I need a different tool for my vector database, and then I should have a catalog product. All of these are integrated in an Autonomous database as a single service. And we start to get a lot of benefits when we integrate all these things to a single service. If you think about, we want to clone a database, but we're not just cloning the data in the database, we're cloning your Apex applications. We're cloning your data science notebooks. We're cloning your ETL transformations. Because we have all this built into a platform, when you clone or when you do a disaster failover, not only does your database move in your SQL application, but all of these components are managed as part of a service. And a really big benefit that we see is that we're delivering this service and all of the components across any cloud. We have Autonomous database available today in OCI, but it's also available in Azure and in Google, and you can get Autonomous database on-prem as well with Oracle's dedicated cloud at customer products. We announced in Oracle Cloud World in September, we announced that we are going to be doing AWS as well. So we're going to have the full Autonomous database platform available wherever you want to run it, right? I mean, I think it's important to realize that when we talk about this multi-cloud, I already talked about sort of the full converged platform that we have and how all these components run in OCI, Azure, Google, and so forth. But then if you are, for example, using Azure today, you're using a lot of Azure services as well. And so we provide all of our Autonomous database platform capabilities. And then we've been working really hard to also integrate natively into Azure. So we integrate with Azure's user authentication with Intra ID. We integrate with Azure Key Vault. We tested and certified that Autonomous Database works with Power BI in Azure. We integrate with Azure's AI and Azure's object storage, right? And so we're seeking to provide not only an ecosystem that runs in Azure, but an ecosystem that integrates and works well with Azure as well. This is what we, of course, have already done with OCI. This is what we're doing in GCP. And this is what we're going to be doing in AWS moving forward. So I wanted to step through some of the components that I showed in the architecture. The first thing I want to talk about is, really what we're doing for each type of persona. People think about a data warehouse and they think of a relational database running SQL applications, and maybe you've hooked up different business analytics tools to that database. But with Autonomous Database, we're really providing much more. We're really trying to give a platform for every type of persona. And the first thing I wanted to mention here is that we have a complete data integration tool built into Autonomous Database. If you're already using a data integration tool, if you're already using Informatica, you can continue to use that with Autonomous Database. But if you're building a new application, you don't have to go and find a data integration tool. We have this built directly into Autonomous Database with our transforms component. And so this is a pretty mature data integration solution. We have connectivity to all the different types of Oracle applications, Oracle eBusiness Suite, Oracle Fusion, all Salesforce, SAP, all sorts of third-party applications and SaaS systems. We provide a cloud-hosted UI, very simple to sort of build your data transformations and data flows with drag and drop. And then all of this is just included with Autonomous Database, right? It's not a separate product to buy, not a separate product to install and configure. It's already set and built into your Autonomous Database. So transforms, one key component that we built in. A second one for data scientists, we have built-in machine learning, right? So that we're really providing a pretty complete platform for machine learning. Everyone thinks of a database, primary language is SQL, right? But within our machine learning offering, we provide notebooks, and you can run SQL or R or Python, whatever the data scientist wants to use. We provide built-in machine learning algorithms inside the database, but we are also open because we know that many people who are using R or Python have their own packages and their own machine learning models that they like to use. So you can use our built-in models, you can bring models in as well. And then we're providing sort of the end-to-end life cycle where you've deployed models, you're doing model monitoring to observe, is your model still accurate? Or is your data drifting? Do you think you need to rebuild your models? We're providing that entire ecosystem within Autonomous Database. And again, the theme that I keep coming back to is all of this is fully managed and fully included with your Autonomous Database. There's nothing that you need to go buy, nothing that you need to configure, the same user IDs, the same security model, the same resources are going to be used for machine learning as for the rest of your Autonomous Database. Third area I want to talk about, for data analysts, we've really worked hard to make it simple for anyone to work with data in Autonomous Database. We'd added a UI suite of products called Data Studio that allows you to sort of see what data is available, load new data, do simple analysis and visualizations, and then share data. And we're going to see several demos as I go through this presentation where we're going to see how you can easily load data and work with data using autonomous database. And the last area I want to talk about in terms of the different personas is application developers. And this is really cool, right? Because a lot of people don't think of necessarily doing application development on top of a data warehouse. But when we look at customers using autonomous database today, they recognize the value of Apex. Apex is for those of you who are not familiar, Apex provides a low-code framework uh, for very quickly building modern apps, right? You can build your applications fairly rapidly. You're much more productive in a low-code environment, sort of orders of magnitude more productive in building applications, and really just deploy them anywhere from autonomous database. And so this opens up a whole new avenue for analytic applications to be able to provide analytic dashboards very quickly, distribute them to anyone you want. And you didn't need to add anything else. All of this is fully available in the autonomous database product. And all of these things are, our philosophy here is to provide a platform that's able to address all of your analytic requirements, right? When Marcos did the survey at the beginning of the webcast, some people said, oh, I'm doing data science. Some people said, I'm interested in leveraging and building Gen AI enabled applications. Some people said, well, I want to access a data lake as well. And we're seeking to address all of those requirements with autonomous database. So let's start looking at the more specific things, and they'll start turning to a demo pretty quick. Um, when we think about sort of the architectures that we have for analytics in the cloud, if you go back maybe even 20 years, people were talking about data warehouses. You have a database, you're going to put all your data in a data warehouse. Increasingly, people start talking about a data lakes or a data lake house where you may have data stored in object store, and you want to process that data in addition to the data that may be stored in your database. As we look today to the cloud, I think people think about, I've labeled this as data fabric, this idea that regardless of where your data is in the cloud or in on-prem, any database should be able to access that data and do analytics. And I want to talk about how autonomous database really addresses all of these architectures, especially sort of these cloud-centric data fabric architecture. With autonomous database, you can access any type of data that's in the cloud that's outside your database, right? So if you have data that's sitting out in object store, right? You can query that data using autonomous database. We support all sort of the common data types and formats. So you could have Parquet or CSV files or JSON files. We support Apache Iceberg. So if you're using open table formats and maybe you have a collection of Apache Iceberg tables sitting in AWS S3, it's very easy to securely set up access to from autonomous database to be able to analyze that. We do a lot of work that I'm not showing the details on the slide to optimize the performance. So we optimize the performance of analytic queries for data that you store inside of an autonomous database. But we also optimize performance of queries over data lake data, over data that's stored in object storage. And so we look at all kinds of techniques for how we're able to recognize the specific structures of Parquet files, do partition pruning, understand the statistics around these files to be able to get you the best type of query performance. But I think maybe a more interesting thing here is, if you think about what I talked about with the data fabric, you said you're going to have data that's spread out throughout your enterprise. You have data in multiple different databases. You have data stored in object store and data lakes. You may have shared data that other people are sharing with you. You may be aware of other data because it's available in other data catalogs, right? And what Oracle has built into Autonomous Database is its own data catalog. I've sort of labeled it here a unified data catalog, where we're able to, from Autonomous Database, to see and access all of this data throughout your enterprise. And by having a data catalog, this makes it super simple to be able to find and do analysis over any type of data. And the basic idea is that we're going to have a data catalog, and multiple autonomous databases are really going to be having kind of the same view of your enterprise data. And this data catalog may have information about the data that you have in your own object storage. It may have information about data lake files, iceberg tables. It may have information about things that may have been shared with you with Delta sharing, right? This data catalog also provides a window to be able to access other data catalogs. So maybe you use AWS today and you have an AWS Glue catalog set up. Well, we are going to integrate with the AWS Glue catalog so that you, from Autonomous Database, you can see all of the data objects available in AWS Glue. We are working for a roadmap as we integrate with Azure to be able to see all the data in Azure Data Lake. We integrate with Iceberg Catalog so that you can access, if you have are managing a data lake using Iceberg Catalog, you're able to read them. And, then once you have this model, right, it's very easy to, as you bring on new autonomous databases, they're all going to be able to see the same set of data, right? So let's actually look and see what the catalog looks like. And we're going to go through a quick demo of the built-in catalog for Autonomous Database.
The Oracle Autonomous Database includes a new catalog, which allows us to search and discover data from across the enterprise. Let's see how the catalog makes data discovery and integration simple. Let's start in Data Studio Catalog Explorer. First, I'm going to search for customer data for my movie streaming business across my local autonomous database, another autonomous database in our tenancy, and a catalogue of shared data on Databricks. I have 25 million records of customer sales data in this table. Previewing the data, I can see this contains records of movie stream sales to customers. Let's add a description of that table for all catalogue users. We can use AI. Yes, that looks correct. The details of my customers are on AWS in Iceberg Open Table format, and I already have a data catalogue on AWS Glue that manages this metadata. So I'll simply add a connection to the AWS Glue data catalogue. Now, all the metadata in Glue is available for search and discovery, and I can easily integrate the data. This is my customer table. I can use this in analysis. Let's add an external table over that data. I can do this in just a few clicks. I come back to the catalogue and now I'm ready to query and analyze my customer data without moving it from AWS. I'll make a simple report of my preferred customers and save it. You've seen how easy it is to use the Autonomous Database Catalog to discover and integrate data from across the cloud. We can search across multiple catalogs of data, easily add new data catalog connections, and preview and integrate the available datasets quickly and easily. And we can use AI assistants to enhance the catalog metadata and improve the experience of browsing for data. Thank you.
So I think you can see how catalog really becomes a sort of key foundation within Autonomous Database for being able to access data across the enterprise, right? That's a pretty large area of investment that we are making right now to make it really easy to work with any data. And the other thing I would point out is that what we just saw in that demo is how quick and easy it was to set up access to a table in AWS Glue, for example, or a table whose metadata we retrieved from AWS Glue. Once we're able to access that data from Autonomous Database, we could do any type of analytics. We could do spatial analytics on top of that. We could do graph analytics. We could do machine learning. So we're really, the catalog gives us access to data that unlocks the full power of Autonomous Database. So the next area I want to talk about is data sharing and data exchange. Right? Within Autonomous Database today, we provide really cool data sharing capabilities. You can have your Autonomous Database, and you can very easily share data to any other Autonomous Database. We're going to see a quick demo of what we built to support that. But you can also share data to non-Oracle targets. You can share data, and when we do this, we share data using an open store protocol called Delta sharing. Right? This is a protocol that was originally proposed and sponsored by Databricks, but you can see that it's supported by a large number of vendors today. And so that it's very easy for you to share data from Autonomous Database with almost anyone. And Autonomous Database is a little bit different in that there are actually many different databases and clients that can read Delta shared data, that are consumers of data sharing. Autonomous Database is one of the few products that's actually a producer of Delta sharing. And so it really helps us to work in an open ecosystem to be able to share data anywhere. I'm focused mostly on data warehouse workloads here, but it's also worth pointing out that you can share data between your data warehouse and your transaction system. You can share data from your transaction systems with these features. And customers are using Delta sharing and data sharing in interesting ways today, right? A couple of quick customer examples, right? This is a multinational veterinary chain. They have their data warehouse running an Autonomous Database. They're using Delta sharing, so they are sharing data sets into a set of Power BI users that are running in Azure. So why are they doing this? Well, they built their data warehouse for a specific set of divisions. I think it's for finance, right? And some other departments want to have access to the data in their data warehouse, but they don't want to give those departments direct access to their data warehouse. They don't have the funding to support all the workloads that those departments might run. So they're using data sharing. They're using Delta sharing to be able to have these other departments be able to access the data from the data warehouse, but do this, in this case, on a different cloud with their own tool of choice to be able to see this data. A different example, and this is sort of going the other direction. This is a manufacturing company. They are using both Databricks and Autonomous Database. They have a data warehouse and Autonomous Database. They have a Databricks system, or sort of a data lake. And they are sharing data actually both ways. So they share data from their Databricks system into Autonomous Database, and actually from Autonomous Database into Databricks. The cool thing about data sharing is there's really no ETL required. You're simply just saying, here's a table or a set of tables, and I want to share it with this user or this set of users. And that's it. You don't have to worry about all these myriads of security policies. You're not worrying about how you're going to actually extract the data and move the data. You're not worrying about security governance type of things with data sharing. You can just rescind access to the data anytime you want. So it makes it super simple to exchange data and work with data across different systems. Along with this, we built what I would almost characterize as an application of data sharing called the data marketplace. So we provide a simple UI and autonomous database where you can look at all the different data sets that are available to you, decide which data sets are interesting, and be able to import those data sets directly in your database. Or conversely, you might have data in your database that you want to share with a different department. You might be working in sales and have data that you want to share with marketing. The data marketplace makes it very easy to do this. And so let's look and see how easy with a quick demo on data marketplace.
Using Autonomous Database, it's easy to publish and access datasets. In Marketplace, I'll access movie stream sales. I see a sampling of the data, a profile of the data. I can choose to load data into my Autonomous Database. I can create a view that links to the data, or I can query it in the analysis application. This is a query that selects from an Oracle Cloud link. These are additional data sets that are available. So how do I do this? Let's take a look. I'll return to Marketplace, choose to publish a table, select a table, I'll preview the data. Looks good. I'll provide a category. The name and the description have been automatically filled in. I choose the scope of publication, my compartment. I provide an email address as a contact. I can provide a URL that documents the dataset. I choose an image. Tags have been automatically created. I press Next, preview the card. It looks perfect. I publish the dataset. Success. In a few minutes, it'll be available to our user community. That's how easy it is to publish datasets in Autonomous Database. Our dataset is now available. Let's take a look. I choose the dataset. I'll query it in an analysis application using an Oracle Cloud link directly from the data source. Looks perfect. In this demo, we saw how Autonomous Database Marketplace allows you to publish datasets to different user communities in just minutes, and those users can access data live from the cloud, create views, or load data into their Autonomous Database.
And I think, one of the things I really wanted to point out about that data marketplace demo is it's easy to look at the UI and think, well, this is simple. You were just sort of clicking through, labeling, giving a label for your shared data set. And maybe sometimes you can overlook the fact of how hard this was to do before, because in that demo, we just shared a data set with everyone in your OCI component. We could have, with those clicks, we could have been sharing data with dozens of different other databases. We didn't have to worry about setting up links between all those other databases. We didn't have to worry about logins or security policies. We're just declaratively stating what data needs to be available, and then autonomous database is taking care of all the complexity under the covers. So something like Data Marketplace is really powerful. Sure, the last section that I wanted to talk about here is autonomous database as a platform for AI. About a year ago, we introduced our first, what we characterize sort of our AI feature. We introduced Autonomous Database Select AI. And what Select AI does is it provides the ability for you to interact with your database using natural language. We can kind of see with the animation here. We're just asking a question of our database. What are our top 10 stream movies that were released after 2010? The autonomous database is using AI technology. It's using an LLM to help process that natural language, and it's translating that natural language into SQL. And this obviously opens up all kinds of possibilities for building chatbot type of applications. It opens up possibilities for developers to be able to more rapidly build applications, because instead of sitting around writing SQL, they could perhaps just use natural language and get the SQL code generated for them. That was only a first step. We've taken Select AI much further now. We've extended Select AI for what's called RAG, result augmentation. And we can look at a quick demo of what RAG is and what the benefits are.
Retrieval augmented generation, or RAG, is a way of improving a large language model's ability to accurately answer questions, especially when those answers require information that is held privately within an organization. Let's see how Autonomous Database makes it easier to create RAG-based apps. Every organization has knowledge bases to support different parts of the business. Oracle MovieStream is no different. It has an internal website used by support teams to answer technical questions from customers. Recently, MovieStream deployed a chatbot to help its customers get answers instantly. Like, my movie is stuck. Or, George Clooney's lips are moving, but I can't hear him. The chatbot gives relevant answers based on information in the knowledge base. So what's the magic? How is this app built? It starts with a new capability built into Oracle Database 23 AI called an AI vector. The MovieStream knowledge base was indexed, capturing the semantics behind the content. When a question is asked, vector search finds the relevant content based on a similarity ranking. It's not a simple text comparison search, it is a semantic search, a much more powerful way of finding relevant information. Here's what the full process looks like. Your question is encoded as a vector and sent to AI vector search. AI vector search then finds relevant documents, and those documents are then sent to GenAI along with your question. In other words, your question has been augmented with content from the customer support knowledge base. GenAI then uses that relevant support information plus general knowledge to provide an informed answer to the user. This may sound complex. Turns out that Select AI simplifies the entire process. Let's take a look at the code. The process is all declarative. First, create an AI profile that's used to process natural language queries. Then, create a vector index whose source is the website whose files are in the object store. Creating the vector index kicked off a pipeline that populated the index from the object store files. The pipeline process completed, and you can now start asking questions using SQL and Select AI. Here we're saying that my Roku is stuck on the opening scene. The response is clear. There isn't specific details in the knowledge base about the Roku, but it does provide general information about restarting the player, checking your internet connection, and other helpful tips. The response also points to the source of the content. Notice even though the support page has no reference to a Roku, it knows that a Roku is a video player, and its stuck on the opening scene is similar to the video freezing. As you can see, this is a semantic search, not a simple text search. It's incredibly powerful.
So what we saw with Select AI and then with Select AI RAG is we saw some capabilities that can help you build AI-enabled applications. You can use those features to build your own chatbot, to add natural language type of interfaces into any application. We have further capabilities. We didn't show a demo. We have graph-based RAG. We've done work to further enable it, make it easier for you to deploy RAG by integrating vector capabilities into our transform apps. All of this is really sort of on the left side of the slide you see. We want to use AI to allow you to build AI-enabled applications. But there's another application of AI within Autonomous Database, which is using AI so that it's simpler for you to manage your data in an Autonomous Database. And I want to turn and look at this side as well, right? A simple example of this is our new Table AI Assist. This is in limited availability today. And you can go in using a natural language, and you can start to actually work with and modify your existing tables. We see a couple of examples here that you could add a new column to a table just by typing what you want that new column to be. Hey, I want to get a year column. I have a date column. I want to get a year column. So you just don't have to go write the SQL for that. You're just typing this in natural language. And we added sort of a suite of things that helps you work with your data that's all powered by AI. So let's look at, this is our last demo. Let's look at how we're able to use AI expressions and AI Assist to help you work with data.
Using AI, Autonomous Database makes it easy to add new columns to tables. I'll start in the Data Loader application. I'm loading from a cloud store. Movie stream is my bucket. I grab a file out of that bucket and drop it on the cart. The data is now being analyzed from the cloud store. An AI service has determined that there may be personally identifiable information. All the settings have been automatically filled in. Email is flagged as PII. I access the data load preview. In fact, we do have email addresses, and we also have a customer comment field. That's interesting. Let's return to settings and do something with that. I'm going to use AI to extract customer sentiment from the customer comments. I'm also going to use AI to extract key phrases. Those are the new columns, and we're good to go. So let's start the data load. The job is started. It'll create the table, load the data, and run the AI services. I'm going to fast forward. All right, the job is done. Let's take a look at the data. As I scroll to the right, I see the sentiment analysis and key phrase extraction columns that were created using AI. Next, I use AI Assist to add new columns to the table using natural language prompts. First, I'll ask for domain from email. AI generates the code and adds it to the query, and here we see the result. I'll also use a preset, year from day. And there we have it, the year column. Easy as that. So what can you do with this? It generates the code for altering the table to adding the columns. It generates a query. You can use that query in a view, and you can use that query to create a table. That's how easy it is to use AI in Autonomous Database for content enhancement. Give it a try today.
Okay, so we just saw a couple of AI demos, and I imagine that some of you are wondering, hey, well, what's really going on under the covers, and what kind of controls do I have for things such as governance, right? Everything you saw for the Select AI demo and the AI Assist demo, we are leveraging other AI services and models, right? So we are leveraging, most prominently, we're leveraging large language models. And when you're using Select AI, you're able to choose which underlying model you want to use. That is, you're connecting your autonomous database to an AI service to be able to access an LLM. Currently, we're providing integration with 35 different models from 7 different providers. So if you're running within OCI, you could use OCI Gen AI. But if you're running in Azure, you could use Azure OpenAI, right? Or if you're running autonomous database in Google, you can use Gemini. Maybe your corporation has already standardized and you have approved models, right? So we're giving you the flexibility to integrate with the model that makes sense. You can integrate with different models for different applications as well. And we've really chosen to go down this path because AI is still very emerging. It's still very active. We want to be able to very quickly adopt new technology, allow autonomous database to adopt new technology as it evolves and emerges. And so we can reach out to any type of models on the cloud, but we can also run models directly within autonomous database. Currently, we're not running LLMs in autonomous database, but if you're familiar with how vector databases work, there are models that are used to encode data, encode text documents, or encode images into vectors. And so that we can import those embedding models and run them directly within autonomous database, such that no execution, everything is just stored directly within autonomous database. We import these using a standard called ONNX, ONNX, and so that you could download models from Hugging Face, import the model into your autonomous database. And then we're taking this a step further. Within autonomous database, we are also adding GPUs. So now we're able to run models with accelerated performance of GPUs. The functionality that we provide today is for machine learning models. So we're going to be able to run select Python machine learning models. We're going to be able to run advanced graph models on GPUs. And then moving forward, we're going to be able to run the models that you download from ONNX on GPUs as well. So you can get the idea that what we're really looking to provide is sort of a breadth of functionality that you can integrate autonomous database with AI services that are available in the cloud. So you can access all the different providers that I talked about before. Or you can download and import models within an autonomous database that you can run locally in an autonomous database, either on normal CPUs or with accelerated performance with GPUs. So we're really looking to build a platform that's going to allow the full leverage of all the different types of autonomous database technology. So this was a bit of whirlwind. I hope everyone enjoyed seeing the demos, getting an appreciation for the breadth of what autonomous database provides, right? When we talk about this idea of a modern data platform, what we're really saying is autonomous database is much more than a database. We're giving tools for every type of persona, for data scientists, for application development, for data engineers. We're accessing data everywhere in data lakes, in open table formats with Iceberg. We're giving you a catalog so you can see and understand and manage that data, and then do any type of analysis on top of that data. So that's really all I had today. Marcos, I want to hand this back to you to wrap up.
Excellent. Yes, thank you very much, George. It was a great session. We've had a bunch of questions already about everything that we saw in terms of technology. We still have a few questions. And guys, keep them coming. I'm going to just quickly run the poll, asking, hopefully you guys learn a lot today, especially folks asking questions that did not know about the topic before. So people are asking, well, there's one question about the GPU, whether extra charges are applied if the person selects the GPU in the in OML there, right? And that's and for now that's correct. Yeah, so there's going to be a specific charge for running a GPU, right? So there's a time, an hourly charge for that GPU when you need it and when you're running it, right? What else here? We have a question about if I can read an invoice, date, invoice number, and totals from an invoice in PDF in Autonomous. So the Autonomous is going to, you could store a PDF file, right? But then you would need a service to get the recognition, right? The OCR, so the optical character recognition running on that first, and extract that information so that you could then further process, the information, right? Or convert that into the rest of a table, right? So you would probably need an AI service, a vision service, right? That we have in OCI, for example, to run that. So that's a possibility for sure. All right, so I'll keep this open, guys. I know we are 1 minute past the hour. So again, if you guys haven't taken note of the links, I'm going to share the links again to everyone in chat. And then keep an eye on the site, right? On the Autonomous Database Learning Lounge in the Ask Tom site. We have there all the upcoming links, the upcoming sessions, links to the replays. And that's it. So I'd like to thank you very much, George, for joining us today and doing the excellent session. And thank you, everyone. I'll leave this open. I'm just gonna put some music here to wait until you guys finished your questions. And I see there's a person raising their hand. You can actually type your question in Q&A so that we can answer that. And in the meantime, that's it. So again, thank you, George. Really appreciate it. And I'll be listening to your questions right now. Still, okay? Thank you. Appreciate it.